shawty's be loving the way I rock my hat. Fresh tie on a button up. Fresh denims with a fresh vest or a sweater on. Fresh pair of frames or some fresh Adidas shows. Cause everywhere I go, they always want a picture. Whispering in my ear, is there anybody with you? Wanna autograph or they just tryna get answer to questions like, what you listening to? I tell them whatever I like, I put it on my radio. You could probably find something new on my radio. If you wanna ride, cool, just don't touch my radio. Don't look so surprised. You can trip if you want, but don't front. You know you love it. Put it on.
What's up? What it do? What it do? That's right. That's right. I am your guy Z Fly, and I am back. Listen, everybody, I made it over to 2025. Thank you, Jesus. I am here, everybody. I'm here to kick it with you again. Another Keeping It Real Hot and Fresh show, the first one for 2025. So, as y'all probably know, this show is going to be like loaded and packed because I have so much to talk to you all about. Haven't seen you in almost a month, right? And there's a lot of things going on since we last saw each other. So I really just hope. Listen, here I go fixing my wardrobe already, right? You know how. Listen, ain't nothing changed. Listen, we in a new year, but still got the same old stuff going on. But hopefully everybody had a really, really great holiday, New Year's, and all that good stuff. And hopefully 15 days into 2025. Hopefully 2025 has been treating you very well. I'm definitely going to talk about, all of that and more throughout the show. But yeah, what I'm saying? We are back with the second half of season 8. That's why we're still in season 8. You're still rocking out with Fly World Media. And I want to get on your guy Z Fly. So just to go ahead and get things started, as I always do, I definitely do want to let you all know where you can find me right now. Just in case, any network or anything stops messing up. Facebook, as right here at the bottom, the best place I would say would be YouTube. That's right, YouTube.com/Real Hot Fresh. While you're there, be sure to subscribe and like this video. But however, there are other places you can watch me live as well. And also to remember, you can definitely also go to the website, which is fly-entertainment.media, and you can watch me there as well. And also you can see so many other great things as well. There you go. There's the website right there. So you can check me out there as well. So also too, I also want to start off by saying that as you know how I do, we always play music throughout the show. Any music that you hear on the Real Hot Fresh show, I do not own the rights to any of this music, okay? Just to want to put that out there, you know what I'm saying? So that way it won't be no copyright, all that kind of stuff happening. So yes, I don't own any of the rights to the music that you hear on the show today. All right, everybody. But once again, I definitely want everybody to chime in, hit me up in the chat, let me know, how you're feeling, how you're doing. How was your holiday? Any resolutions you may have. I want to know all that stuff. So, hit me up in the comments, and I'll definitely read them live today on the show. So speaking of the new year, now before we can move forward, you know how they say, they always say that, you got to know where you've been before you can move forward. So, I do want to just go right back to 2024 really, really quick. And, just do like a little year-end review of 2024 because, a lot of times, I do a lot of things and I do so much that sometimes people can get a little confused. So I want to take this time to, just to kind of look back on 2024 because sometimes even for myself, I have to kind of take a break and just be like, wait a minute, did I actually do that? Like, did that really happen? So, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes I got to, stop and smell the roses too, as they say. And, just be like, wow, I actually did this. So we're going to go on back, take it on back to 2024. Back to, I want to say the spring. So if you all, so the ones who have been keeping up with me, if you remember, I brought a show called Live at 5 back. I've done Live at 5 before, but last year it was really in effect because Live at 5 is basically a show. It's really designed to have a weekly thing. Either it'll be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday type, or it could be Thursday too. Yeah, so Monday through Friday. And the things could be either Monday, movers and shakers Monday, or Tuesday, tip Tuesday. Wednesday is wondering Wednesday. Thursday is throwback Thursday, and then I think Friday was either flashback Friday or fun fact Friday. So basically I would just pick one of those things throughout the week and elaborate on it. So if you all remember that I did that, mostly through the spring, and I think a little part at the beginning of the summer, and it was really, really great. One thing that I really like about it is because it's not really like the Real Hot Fresh show. The Real Hot Fresh show is very multifaceted, meaning that there's a lot of moving parts. I do news, I do celebrity gossip, I do real talk. But with Live at 5, it was just one topic, and I would just talk about it. I would just elaborate on it. If you were rolling with me last year, then you remember that I did a June. June is known as what is I forgot what it's called. Pride Month. I'm sorry. June is Pride Month. So if you remember, but I did a whole segment, like all my shows in June were about debunking the LGBT. And basically it was just about, just bringing a different awareness to it. Because, listen, I'm pretty sure a lot of you know that a lot of that has really went to the left. So, so I made June about, just shedding light on what things the LGBT community or organization will not tell you. So I may have a little bit of video of some of my Live at 5. Let me see what I can do for you if we got some video. Here we go. So yeah, here's like a little snippet of what I did last year. Check it out.
Now, how's everybody? It's your guy Z Fly. I guess I'm so happy that you're able to join me this Thursday for throwback Thursday. And I take you on a nostalgic journey through the captivating life of yours truly. That's right. Also, I'm on the evolution of my crown. Ever lived young. That's right. Now, if you all have been following for the past 2 weeks, you notice I started to do a weekly thing in my stories where it's either like a movers and shakers Monday, a tip Tuesday, a fun fact Friday, or whatever. Yes, I'm gonna start doing that. But I told myself, I said, one day out of the week, I'll make one of the things alive. So yeah, it won't be every day. But at least one day, maybe two, depending on how things go on, I might make it, make 1 or 2 live or whatever. So today is the first and the premiere of Throwback Thursday. So welcome to the day. So I'm going to be throwing it back. It's all about my career. Now, some of you all who have been following me faithfully throughout the years, you know what I do. Well, actually, you might know what I do. I don't know that some of you, I didn't know you do radio. How long have you been on me? So yeah, so it might be a lesson for the old followers, also listen to the followers, to get to know your point of and also what I've been doing. Let's go back to where it all started.
And there you have it. So yeah, so this right here, so that where it was it may was kind of buffering a little bit. Listen, like I said, we in 2025. Ain't nothing changed with the internet either. But that was just me talking from the beginning. I was just kind of giving, just who I am, what I do, what my brand is about, what Z Fly is about. So that was what that was. You probably, if you couldn't hear it. So you could definitely go back and check it out on YouTube, my YouTube page.com/real hot fresh, and hear all about it. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you, Lynn, but I was looking at that video. I said, "Dang, what a good ring light will do." So now I was looking bright, right? Everybody, listen, I'm gonna get my ring light together. I was supposed to have it right by now, but listen, y'all, I'll tell you. So anyway, so yeah. Now, so that was the beginning. So yeah, so like I said, Live at 5 was great. I don't know if I have another video that I'm gonna show regarding Live at 5, or maybe not. Let me check. Let me see what I have. I may not, but if I don't, that's cool. Anyway, okay. All right. So yeah. So that was about Live at 5. So yeah, Live at 5. Like I said, I think I did. I don't know, I think what 10, 12 episodes of it for that first season. So yeah, so season 1 is on, like I said, my YouTube page. So definitely check that out. And hopefully season 2 will be coming this year. We'll just have to see, wait and see. All right. Also 2020. Oh, I think I got something. Oh no, here we go. No. Yeah, so also 2024. I love it. Listen, you gotta love a live show. Also 2024 brought my fundraiser. That's right. So if y'all know, I raise awareness on women diagnosed with endometrial cancer, which is like uterine cancer, which is one of the gynecologic cancers. And so last year in June, endometrial cancer awareness month is June. So in June, I traveled on to Harlem and I did a fundraiser, spreading the word. And it was really, really fun. People actually came out. It was a really great event because, we had vendors, we had entertainment, we had a chef or caterer. We had a great time. And then, of course, I brought the information and, we even had discussion about the endometrial cancer. It's really, I'm really, really proud of the Lavender Project because, it's bringing people together and getting these conversations started that a lot of times people aren't having. I've been hearing since I started the Lavender Project, I've heard too many women say how they go to the doctor and the doctor just say, oh, it's probably just this, or oh, it's probably just gas, or it's probably just that, and then kind of find out later it was something more like endometriosis or fibroids. So a lot of women are being misdiagnosed, and so the Lavender Project is here to spread the awareness on what symptoms to look out for and what treatment, the best treatment that's out there, and just to inform what is uterine cancer, how is it started, where is it from. So let's look at a little bit, just a little snippet of the fundraiser last year. Take a look.
Beautifully acknowledgedly with endometrial cancer, because just by being a caretaker for her, I see that those are the things that it takes for a person to have a fighting chance to beat the cancer. Unfortunately, when she did find out, she was in stage 4. So a lot of the stage 4 is very hard to beat it. But you know what? But something great that comes from it, and here we are today celebrating the project and raising awareness of women diagnosed with endometrial cancer. The Lavender Project, for example, the mission of Lavender is to educate, support, and give strength to women living with endometrial cancer and the families involved. So, so we're not a foundation, we're not curing cancer. We're here to give awareness on how, we want to highlight the fact of the cancer and how serious and vital it is to understand symptoms. The Lavender Project will support the Foundation for Women's Cancer. These beneficiaries and join in on the National Race in Women's Cancer. So the Foundation for Women's Cancer is a great organization in Chicago that they only focus on gynecologic cancers. A lot of people don't even know what gynecologic cancers are. Why? Because a lot of people hear about breast cancer, colon cancer, and colon, and liver. Breast, colon, who? There you go. Yeah, so we don't really hear much about gynecologic cancer. So it's really something. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have some.
So there you have it. So yeah. So everybody, so that was just some of the Lavender fundraiser that I had in June. Once again, if you're not able to hear, I do apologize, but definitely check it out. You can actually check that out on the website. Once again, go to the website. If you go to the website, once again, fly-entertainment.media, and then enter the website and then click on to I don't even know website. From living. Sorry, giving is good. Giving is good, and they'll take you to the Lavender page, and then you'll be able to see past events, and you'll definitely see that one. But now, speaking of past events, also in September of last year, 2024, the Lavender Project was on the move. So we went from Harlem all the way to the Midwest to Denver, Colorado. That's right. I was able to get into the University of Colorado. They have a medical center, and they have a block party every year. So I was able to, to become a vendor at the block party, get the Lavender Project in, and that was really cool as well. It was only it was for one day, only for 3 hours, but we did get the word out. We also have merch as well, so people were buying some of the Lavender merch. I think we sold shirts, mugs, other things, bags, pillows. So it was really, really good. So that was in Denver, Colorado. I might got a little bit of a video from that as well. So let's see what we got. If we may have it. And once again, everybody, just bear with us. Y'all know how the internet is, doing a live show on the internet. I'm just telling you. So I'm trying to pull it up for you. So we'll see if we have anything. We may have something. We may not. But we're definitely going to see. But yeah, but while I check, just to elaborate a little bit more, so far my project has really, it was created in 2022. Well, I won't say it wasn't created in 2022, but actually launched in October 2022. I want to say that's right. I should know that, right? It was 22, because these years are going so quickly. But ever since it launched, it's really been on the go. We started out in New Jersey at an expo. From there, we went to Atlanta. From Atlanta, we back in New York, Denver. So, so the Lavender Project has really been, here and there spreading the word on the awareness. So I'm not sure if we have any video from the Denver one, that's fine. But then also too, another big thing of 2024 was what we're doing now. The Real Hot Fresh return. That's right. So that was really, really big because, it was some years that kind of that we weren't keeping it real hot and fresh. Actually, I think it was back in 2021, around the pandemic time. I don't know if you remember, but we were in a studio called DTF Radio. But when 2020 came, the pandemic knocked us out of the studio. So we did finish that season up on Blog Talk Radio. But then from there, we just kind of took a hiatus for a while just to regroup and figure out, okay, which direction are we going to go from there. And 2024, last year, we brought it back, the return of the Real Hot Fresh show. So yeah, so that was some of the goodness that happened last year. And, sometimes, and then actually even more, of course, a lot, because there was a lot of different planning, a lot of, meeting people, a lot of networking, a lot of connections. So a lot really happened last year in 2024. And I'm really, really blessed and really, really happy. And I just want to share my year-end review with you all of my 2024. Okay. All right. But now we're going to take a quick music break. And when we get back, we're going to really get this show started for the first show of this year with In the Know after the music break. So keep it locked. Don't go anywhere, because so much more is coming.
This is non-stop, baby. You got me going crazy. You're heavier than I knew. But I don't want no other. You're my cameo lover. Only here for a moment or two. You stay inside that bubble with all of your trouble. And you're the black hole. You turn from the sky, so dance with your demise. I'll be here when you come home. With all gather Open up your heart. Open, open, open. Every day's like drinking in sleep. Love is like a silhouette of days. Open up your heart. Open up your heart. Open up your heart. Let it blow your mind. Your heart. Open up your heart.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Keeping It Real Hot and Fresh show. I am your guy Z Fly, and we are now about to get in the know. Hit it.
Did you know? 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 Nah. All right, you big.
All right, everybody. Did you know? Also, really quick, did you know that I do not own the music? Any of this music that you hear on today's show, I do not own the rights to it. Okay, just to let y'all know that. All right, but now let's get into in the know. All right, everybody, listen, we are back at it for 2025. Nothing changes. Gun jams as a woman tries to shoot her boyfriend, Tennessee police says. A Tennessee woman is facing an attempted murder charge after reportedly attempting to shoot her boyfriend before her gun jammed. The Memphis police said. On January 8th, police say a male victim told officers his girlfriend, Renelle Harden, had pointed a gun to his face. Okay, he said that he said that he was at Harden's residence because she wanted to work on the relationship and for him to come back home. At some point of the reunion, the victim said they began to argue about the light bill. Harden then became upset and got her pistol out. Now, if this isn't some ghetto mess, okay, the victim told officers that he and Harden were outside when she allegedly fired a shot toward her neighbor's residence and another toward her neighbor. That second bullet struck his driver's side door. That's when the victim said Harden turned around and pointed the gun at his face. He told officers she pulled the trigger, but the gun jammed. The victim said when Harden bent over to re-rack the gun to unjam it, he was able to take it from her. But listen, are y'all listening to this? Listen, 2025 just started. Now they already got some love, hates, whatever going on. So just some crazy love. I mean, it's crazy that January 8th, and this woman is already trying to catch a charge over the light bill. Okay, the victim said that he got into his vehicle to leave Harden's residence, and she followed him. He told officers he then wrecked his vehicle, ran from the scene, and called a friend to pick him up. According to the police report, the victim was not injured, but claimed he feared for his life. Harden has been charged with criminal attempted first-degree murder, employing a firearm during the commission attempt to commit a dangerous felony, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. Woo! Okay, and there she is, everybody. Okay, listen, y'all might want to stay away from her because she is, listen, if y'all don't pay these bills, she's going to get you. All right, but also, too, I want to say real quick, now listen, there's a story to let you know that it was not his time to go, was it? That gun jammed. Oh, yeah, somebody up there was looking out for him. It wasn't his time to go. All right, moving along, let's talk about these fires. As y'all know, the LA fires, the California fires continues into the weekend. in LA. Now, since the flames erupted in around LA, scores of residents have returned to their still smothering neighborhoods, even as the threat of new fires persisted in the nation's second largest city remained unsettled. For some, it was a first look at the staggering reality of what was lost as the region of 13 million people grapples with the gargantuan challenge of overcoming the disaster and rebuilding. You know, looking at some of these fires just over the, how long it's been going and over the weekend and everything, it's really hard to believe that this is actually happening. I mean, now, as we all know, California, LA area, that area, it's known to have fires, but doesn't it just seem like this one is just one of the worst? It says calmer winds enable firefighters to start gaining some control of the biggest blaze in metropolitan LA on Friday, before gusty weather returns over the weekend to an area that hasn't seen rain in more than 8 months. But by Friday evening, new evacuations were ordered in an area that includes part of the Interstate 405 after a flare-up on the eastern side of the Palisades fire. So now let's talk about the city leadership accused of failing to provide enough money for firefighting. So that's one of the bigger, the big talks. Like, a place that's known for having fires, where's the water? So allegations of leadership failures and political blame have begun, and so have investigations. Governor Gavin Newsom on Friday ordered state officials to determine why a 117 million gallon, which is like 440 million liter reservoir, was out of service and some hydrants ran dry, calling it deeply troubling. Meanwhile, LA Fire Chief Kristen Crowley said that city leadership failed her department by not providing enough money for firefighting. She also criticized the lack of water. So, it sounds like there's a whole lot of blame going around, if you ask me. She also said when a firefighter comes up to a hydrant, we expect there's going to be water. At least 11 people have been killed, with 5 from the Palisades fire and 6 from the Eden fire. According to the LA County Medical Examiner's officer, officials said that they expected that number to rise as Calvager dolls go through level neighborhoods to access the devastation to an area larger than San Francisco. Wow. Officials on Friday set up a center where people could report those missing. Tens of thousands of people remain under evacuation orders, and the fires have consumed about 56 square miles, which is about 145 square kilometers. The disasters took homes from everyone, from waiters to movie stars. Yeah, y'all probably saw like people like Paris Hilton. Oh my God, so many other people. I can't even think. I mean, I can think Cameron Matheson. I think Beyonce mom. We'll talk about her a little bit later. But yeah, there's a lot of different celebrities and stars, just people have lost their homes. The government has not yet released figures on cost of the damage, but private firms have estimated it will climb into the tens of billions. The Walt Disney Company announced Friday it will donate $15 million to respond to the fires and help rebuild. Also, I do remember reading that Tyler Perry, he's going to start doing something too with the because he was very disappointed in the insurance companies and just how they're handling everything. So he's gonna start, working his magic and his muscle to help out as well. The flames hit schools, churches, and a synagogue, libraries, boutiques, bars, restaurants, banks, and local landmarks like the Will Rogers Western Ranch House and Queen Anne style mansion in Altadena that dated back to 1887. People, and was commissioned for wealthy map maker Andrew McNally. So, also some recent things that I think just happened yesterday is that down there's some earthquakes going on too in parts of California, and I think they said the earthquakes are so bad that it's kind of possibly causing tsunamis. I don't know what's going on in California, but we got to pray for them Californians because they are going through a lot. Okay, everybody, but listen, that's a lot to be in the know. I'm gonna leave y'all on a happy note. Let's just try to bring it back up. Okay, so let's talk about money now. 2.66 million jackpot iLottery winner tells wife it's time to retire. That's right. A lucky Illinois iLottery player is making his wife's dreams come true after he snagged a jackpot worth more than 2.5 million on a fast play game. Can y'all imagine this? Okay, the big winner hit the 2.66 million jackpot prize while playing Ultimate Diamond Jackpot on the Illinois lottery app. And listen, look, I'm just on an app, you win that much. Okay, a progressive fast play game that offers players the chance at a jackpot that starts at 75,000 and climbs each time a ticket is sold statewide, online and in store. Okay, so now the newly minted millionaire said that he snagged the jackpot prize while sitting at home watching TV with his wife, who is a high school sweetheart of his, and the big win caught him off guard. Here's how it happened. He said, my wife and I had just sat down to watch one of our favorite TV shows, and I opened up my Illinois lottery app at the same time to play the Fast Play Ultimate Diamond Jackpot game. However, I got distracted by the TV show and didn't pay much attention to my app. Next thing I knew, I looked at my phone and it said I won the 2,661,339 jackpot. And then he said, when I realized I won the jackpot, my jaw dropped and I gasped. My wife looked at me and asked, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" He said, I told her we just hit the jackpot. She simply said, "You're right." But then I showed her my phone as the prize amount popped up on the screen. She couldn't believe it. And we are still both in shock and disbelief, which I can believe that for sure. The lucky lotto player said, thanks to the prize, his wife will finally be able to retire. You know, there is sweet in itself that with all that money, his first priority and his first thought is his wife, her retiring from her job. He wasn't like, oh, I'm about to go get me a truck. I'm about to go travel. I'm about to do this. No, his first thing is my wife can finally retire. That's really wow. So, they really are high school sweethearts. We've been married for 36 years, they said, and have been working for nearly as long. My wife has been eager to retire. And when I realized that we won, the first thing I told her was, this is meant to be. It's time for you to retire, enjoy life, and pursue your dreams. And with 2.66 million, they can do definitely that as long as they spend it right. Okay. And everybody, you are now in the know. All right, everybody. So we're going to definitely keep this show moving. As y'all know, we also have a segment called LAAF, which is laugh, which stands for life as a woman. Oh, sorry. No, look, it's life as a female. Look, there I go messing up. So let's go ahead and get into that now. Let's hit it. Life as a female.
Oh my
hit
God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Right, right, everybody. So now, listen. Now, today's laugh comes from talking about in today's society, the modern woman, right? The modern female. A lot of women are saying, that they want to have equalness to men. They don't understand why they got to keep taking a backseat to a man's world. Whether it's in the job, whether it's in the house. Why does she got to stay at home and cook and clean and watch the kids? Why can't he do it? Why did he got to always make the six figures at a job? Why can't I make the six figures? Why don't all these whys, right? But but the thing is, when it comes to that, a lot of times women have to be careful what you ask for, because if things are actually reversed, where women are expected or looked upon to do certain things that men do or make same money as men make or X, Y, and Z, you also got to be willing to take some of the hits that men get as well. So let's look at this laugh. There's actually a man who's talking about just this, that if the roles were reversed, how women may feel. So check this out.
Happened, the Titanic went down, all the women and children were being saved while the men were left on the ship to be doomed. And we kind of had a similar situation happen. You guys ever see this ship to Concordia. It was, I believe it was in Italy, and it started to, I think the captain was like, he was going a little too close to shore, and then they hit a rock. The rock like sliced through the bottom. I mean, kind of like Titanic style, but not an iceberg. They hit a rock apparently, and then the ship started sinking. It started tilting, and they started freaking out. They started trying to board, load up the lifeboats, and total Titanic style, right? And these women were just stunned because they said men were jumping over us, climbing over us to get on the lifeboat. There was nobody there saying women and children first. It was just like every man for himself. These women were horrified by that behavior. But it's like, what do you expect in a society where you yourself are likely encouraging this woke behavior that men are just like women? Women are just like men. Oh, women, I've seen the latest, what is that movie? Like Catwoman movie. She was beating up, 10 other guys who are twice her size. So that must be real life. Women should do that in real life. And it's like, no, when it comes down to reality and brass tacks, these women are helpless, and you'll be hard pressed to find a GI Jane in there. I mean, I'd be looking for the strong alpha dudes.
I just wanted to say something real quick. Just I guess
So you know what? So just in case you weren't able to hear all of that, basically he was just giving an example of how women say how I was saying women want things to be equal or reversed or whatever. But like he was saying, let's say you're on a ship. You know how the ship rules are. If the ship goes down, women and children first. Well, if we're going to be equal about everything, now let's just say that it was men and children first, and now how will women feel about that? A ship is going down and all the men and the children got to get off first. Now you might say, oh well, look at these men, they should be ashamed of themselves. They're sitting there trying to save their lives before a woman. But isn't that equal? You know what I'm saying? So what does the equal comes from? What type of equal do you mean? Is it like, oh, you want to, pinpoint the equalness, but then that gets confusing. So you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. If you want things to be reversed, the men and women roles are being reversed. Women, you gotta think about what you're asking for. Now let's look at something from Instagram, where I believe this is where a lady with a baby wanted to sit down and look and watch the response. Look at the result. Check this out.
I'm standing on the train and look at all these men. What happened to giving up your seat for women? No man offered me a seat. Excuse me, are you going to get up?
What?
Are you going to get up?
Are you pregnant?
No.
Are you for equality?
Yes.
Then fuck off.
I mean, you can't be mad at him, right? He asked her, "Are you pregnant?" She's not pregnant, and he asked her, "Is she for equality?" She said, "Yes." So keep it stepping, because if you're for equality, then you can stand the same way you want this man to stand. I mean, it sounds crazy, right? But I'm just saying, when you're asking for certain things, you got to know what you're asking for. And last on the laugh list today is there's a man who is warning men to, if you see a woman in danger, keep it pushing. Look, watch this man, what he has to say.
If you see a woman struggling with a flat tire, to help her, pull over and yell, "Go girl boss," then peel out and drive away. Helping her change the flat tire would be considered mansplaining, and that would be disrespectful. Welcome to the matriarchy. You know where women don't have to worry about getting stranded? The kitchen.
Follow for more sound advice like this.
It sounds horrible, right? I mean, but I've heard in so many different sectors of the nation, of the internet, of how a lot of men, they are being a little wary of helping women. Because just what that man said, they don't want to tell women certain things because women feel like, oh, you're mansplaining, or they don't want to help women because she's like, oh, what are you trying to say? I can't do it myself. So now I know this isn't all women. So I do want to make that clear. Some women actually like the chivalry. Some women still want to be submissive and let a man do everything. But there's so many of modern women on the rise that is starting to kind of shadow out or clear out the women who still wants to play the submissive role and let a man just do everything. because a lot of the modern women are really speaking loud about how they want equal rights and equal treatment. But then, like I said, you got to know what you're asking for. Okay. And that is your laugh for today. Okay. And right after the laugh, we have a pap. That's right, everybody. I'm just bringing it to you right after the other. Let's get into this pap. Here we go.
Oh my god. 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 Oh my god.
Okay. Now this one here will definitely be an oh my god moment for a lot of people. Now for those of you all who actually know me, y'all know that Z5 loves a good libation. Okay, a good cocktail. Well, today, pap is known as pause for the moment, and then you pour you a glass. Because it's just that, it's just that pour worthy. But today I'm going to be talking a little different, everybody, because today it's going to be a pause and no pour. That's right, everybody. I'm going to be telling you about my 6 months no alcohol detox journey that I am going to be taking. I know, can you believe it? But listen, I will say this though, don't worry, because the pause and pour segment will still live on, because also pause and pour doesn't mean you got to pour alcohol. You can pour anything, your favorite beverage, your orange juice, Sprite, lemonade, whatever. So I'm still gonna be doing pause and pour, but not pause and pour with alcohol for 6 months. But also I wanted to have this segment today to encourage and invite some of you all out there listening today to go on this journey with me. Now, I must admit, I was supposed to start on January 2nd, but of course, I was out of town, and you're around temptation and libations, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fool myself. I'm going to wait until I'm back in NYC so I can really focus on myself. Now, you all might say, okay, but in 6 months, you may be around temptation again. And you're right. But at least now, I'll be more stronger. I really will be more stronger to be like, nope, you know what? I don't start it. I'm done. So I actually just started just 2 days ago on the 13th. But I'm really going to stay focused with it because, I want to share with you a lot of the benefits of a no pour of alcohol for 6 months or longer, but we'll go with the 6 months. So let's talk about the physical health benefits. So some of the health benefits of no drinking alcohol, it improves the liver health, which reduces strain on your liver, allowing it to regenerate and function better. Now you can't see all that, but I'll just read it for you, but just know it's there. Oh, there you go. Okay, here we go. Also, you get a better sleep quality. I definitely know that I toss and turn a lot. And listen, I don't know why, but it could be because of all them cocktails in my liver. You know what I'm saying? So better sleep quality. Alcohol disrupts sleep cycles. So abstaining can lead to more restful and restorative sleep. Also, it increased energy levels. How many of you all just don't have any energy? I mean, y'all don't have no energy to go walk to the mailbox. You know what I'm saying? Without alcohol, your body has more energy to focus on daily activities. Now, here's a big one. And here's definitely a big one. This one I'm focusing on: weight loss. Okay, alcohol contains empty calories, and avoiding it can aid in weight loss or maintenance. Number 5, stronger immune system. Alcohol can weaken your immune system, so cutting it out helps your body fight off illnesses more effectively. Next, we have reduced risk of chronic disease, lowers the risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and certain cancers. Improve digestion. Alcohol can irritate the digestive system, so avoiding it can lead to less bloating and better gut health. Next, we have healthier skin, which is very important. Alcohol dehydrates the body, including your skin. Quitting can lead to a brighter complexion and reduced puffiness. And that is so true because, I've always been, told, oh, you have nice skin, you have nice skin. Listen, I ain't heard that lately. Okay. Listen, that's not funny, y'all. I'm telling you. Now, another good one is lower blood sugar levels. Okay, reduces the risk of blood sugar spikes caused by alcoholic drinks, which are often higher in sugar. and it can improve organ function, better hydration, and reduce toxic buildup, help all your organs work effectively and efficiently. It's really interesting, isn't it, that how much alcohol can really take a toll on your body. Now, those are some of the physical health benefits. Now let's talk about the mental and emotional benefits. One is improve the mental clarity, which alcohol can fog your thinking. So going without can help improve focus and memory. It can reduce anxiety. Alcohol can heighten anxiety over time. Detoxing can help stabilize your mood. Better emotional stability. Avoiding alcohol helps regulate emotions more effectively. Enhance self-esteem. Proven to yourself that you can stick to your detox can boost your confidence and self-worth. Improve relationships, clearer communication and emotional availability can strengthen bonds with family and friends. Okay, I also have some social and lifestyle benefits, which are better decision making. Without the influence of alcohol, you're more likely to make sound decisions in social and personal settings. More meaningful connections. Socializing without alcohol can lead to more genuine and deeper interactions. Reduce risk of accidents. Avoiding alcohol lowers the chances of accidents or injuries caused by impaired judgments. More productive time. You'll likely find you have more time and energy to focus on hobbies, work, and personal goals. And financial savings. Alcohol can be expensive, and avoiding it can free up funds for other priorities. This is really interesting, isn't it? Like just reading this, like people, as you see, a lot of people, they enjoy their libations, they enjoy cocktails, and always having little paint and sips and all these things. But alcohol really takes a toll, doesn't it? It's kind of scary. All right, and last but not least, everybody, long-term benefits. Okay, healthier coping mechanisms. You'll develop non-alcoholic based ways to deal with stress and emotions, lower risk of dependency. A detox can help break the cycle of relying on alcohol for relaxation or social confidence. Wow. Longevity, improve overall health and reduce risk of alcohol-related illnesses, contribute to longer, healthier life. And last, sense of accomplishment. Successfully completing a 6-month detox is a major achievement that can inspire you to tackle other goals. So there you have it, everybody. So that is my PAP, my pause, and no pour for today. But yeah, this is what I'm trying, a 6 month. So you know what? Hearing all of that really is, it's all positive benefits. And I really hope that I will really be looking and feeling and thinking better come June, right? It'll be about June 15th, I think, something like that. So yeah, so I'm going to really do this. I do encourage you all to try it with me. I know if now listen, if you can't maybe do the 6 months, try maybe 90 days. If you can't do 3 months, then try a month. I know January is known for dry September. See, look, it's the alcohol. I can't even think. Dry January. But since we're already halfway through, and if you haven't started, who knows? Listen, try it for the next 15 days. You know what I'm saying? I know that going cold turkey for a lot of people, it just can't work. But try what you can. Try the next 15 days of January. Try a month. Try 90 days. Do what you can do, but I'm gonna definitely try 6 months because I'm telling you, listen, Z Fly, I need to be back fly come summer. Okay, and everybody, you are now in the pause and pour of it all. All right, everybody. So next, thank you so much for keeping it tuned, everybody. Once again, I do want to let you know that definitely be sure to follow me on my social media that I'm gonna run for you right here at the bottom. Check me out on my social media. I have Twitter, I have Facebook, I have YouTube, I have Instagram, I have whatever you need to keep in the know with me. Okay, coming up next after the music break, we got some real talk for you. Now, I'm pretty sure y'all said, wait a minute. Now, I was waiting for the real talk the whole show. Well, that's right. Listen, I'm letting y'all wait a little bit longer before I give y'all that real talk. But don't worry, it's coming up next. And I will be talking about, more about women and equal rights. That's right. And also the pressure of men being a provider these days. Yeah. it's a lot of pressure on men and women. So we're gonna talk about that next on the Real Hot Fresh Show. Don't go anywhere because all that's coming up next. And also too, the music that's coming up, I do not own the rights, but enjoy it. All right, stay locked.
Like yesterday, when I first saw baby girl around the way. But the guy that she with can't be a man, cause if she was my girl, I'd be holding her hand. So I just stared at her and held my spot, thinking, damn, this man don't know what he got. She was way past hot and she flashed me a grin, so that means she wish she wasn't with him. So I played it smooth and winked at her gladly. Hey, is it me or she just winked back at me? Now I ain't saying that dude don't matter, but should I feel bad cause I really wanna have her? She was more than just a pretty face. Oh well, maybe another time, another place. Until then, you already know the deal. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Wow, this feels so strange. And I ain't even get your name. You make me wanna sing about ya. I mean, you a queen, so you need a king around you. He probably thinking, be safe, be sure, be sure. You ain't married, little mama, what you waiting for? Maybe he holding steady, or maybe he gon' do it when he get ready. I ain't plotting for you to drop him. I'm just saying exercise your options. Until then, you already know the deal. Only for me. She said, okay. Alright. Okay. Nice to meet you. My name is Skills. Okay. I hear you. Come on. Yeah.
Welcome back to Fly World Media, everybody. I am your guy Z Fly, and y'all know y'all keeping it real hot and fresh. And right now, we about to go ahead on and talk about it with that real talk. Hit it. That's right. Let's get into it. Also, wanna shout out real quick my radio director. She's in the back, hooking us up with everything. So thank you so much for working hard today for the first show, being back, keeping it real hot and fresh. All right, that's definitely want to shout her out. Okay, so everybody, let's go ahead and get into the real talk of it all. So, like I said, we're gonna continue to talk about women demanding equal rights. And you know what I'm saying? What exactly does that actually entail, or what could it entail? Now, if you are just now tuning in, well, you're late, but then you also missed the laugh where I showed you, whenever the roles can be reversed, how it could look for a woman, thinking that she wants, to be as equal as a man, but how it could look, when she is. So we're going to talk about that. When women demand equal rights, are they really aware of what it could entail? And then a little bit later, we'll talk about, are men actually willing and ready, to hand off the hard work to women? So you know what? I actually did a little bit of research, and some of the things I found are, whenever women, think that they want to be as equal as a man. But what it could entail is also a lot of backlash or resistance. Like efforts to achieve gender equality can provide, can basically provoke the backlash for individuals or groups who feel that their traditional roles or power are being threatened. So, like for example, as we all know, a lot of men, they don't like the modern woman. They like the, what they call the contemporary, or just how a woman should be, at home and, not working and with the kids, and, they like that. But they don't like this modern woman, the woman who wants to work, the woman who ain't trying to be at home with kids, the woman who wants to be out partying too till 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. And, the woman who, who are going on girls trips, and, women are doing it for themselves. They don't need a man. It's all this stuff, but, that can really start to have a backlash on the opposite gender, where men start to despise women as we see it. We see them try to despise women. They want to submit women back to how they feel they should be. It can just start a lot of almost like a war between male and female in a sense. Also too, it can cause misinterpretation of equality goals. Like some people may misinterpret gender equality as an attempt to diminish men's rights, rather than elevate women's opportunities. And I think that's a lot of the problem. See, a lot of men out there, they feel like women are trying to come into their spaces and take their jobs and do things better than them, which I believe, that's not always the case. It's just that women just want these opportunities for themselves. Women want to have the opportunity, like I was saying, to make a six-figure salary, to not always have to be at home with the children, like, hey, I have friends coming into town. Can I go hang out with my friends for the weekend while you take care of your children? I know too many women who can't do anything outside of being with the children all the time. But the man, he still has his life. He'll still go out with the boys. And even if he's at work, that's still an outlet for him to be away from the wife and the children. See, a lot of times women don't have that. Their work is at home dealing with the children. So where is their outlet to get away from the home life? Where a lot of men get that opportunity and that luxury where women don't. So I think that's a lot of misinterpretation where men think that women, they're trying to, take our turf and be in our man space. And I really think that a lot of women just want their own spaces. And what does that look like? Because, women has been submitted and suppressed for so long that now whenever we see the girls' trips and the girls' night out and things like that, though that's women trying to create their own opportunities and their own spaces. Also too, the economic challenges for business, implementing equal pay, parental leave and other gender equal policies may create short-term financial challenges for businesses as they adapt to more, equitable practices. I don't want to speak too much on this because, I know that there is a parental leave, not a parental, I meant to say paternal leave. I don't know how long that would be for men, but let's just say it's not as long as maternal leave. So if you want equal rights, then they can say, okay, well, you don't need this many months. A man only gets this many months for paternal leave, so you can get what he gets. So it gets kind of tricky. As far as equal pay. I feel like depending on the job, if a woman is actually doing the same thing as a man is doing, same type of work, then yeah, she should get equal pay. Just because she's a woman, she shouldn't get $1 or two less. She should get the same thing. If they're doing the exact same job. Also pressure on women to do it all. That's kind of like what I was saying in my laugh. As women gain more rights and opportunities, society expectations may increase. Like how the laugh the guy was saying, oh, if you see a woman who's changing her tire, then you just keep it moving. You don't got to help her because people are that's like a pressure on women. Like you want to have equal rights, then change the tire. As I would, as a man would. What's wrong? Put oil in the car. So a lot of this sounds kind of like, what? Y'all expect women to do what? But that's what I'm saying. But whatever you're putting it on the table, that you want equal rights as men. That's what I said. Women gotta really know what all that entails, because there are a lot of men. Now some people may say, oh, these men are sorry. Like they don't even care. Well, no, but they're starting to figure out, well, listen, if y'all want to do these things, y'all are saying that we're taking over and we're X, Y, and Z in, then y'all do it. It's really that simple. I heard someone say that the women or just the world will be in shambles if it wasn't for men. Because like, if you really think about it, a lot of the hard work, construction, putting roads and highways and byways and all this stuff, buildings together. You see a lot of men doing these things. So, now not saying women couldn't do it, but if we were, but would women want to do all these things? You got to think about all that stuff. Also, too, just the loss of traditional roles. In some cultures, the pursuit of gender equality may clash with deeply ingrained traditions, causing identity crisis or resistance from communities tied to traditional roles, gender roles. So, a lot of people, she might say, now the woman might say, well, I'm going to go to work. You stay at home. Now, if the man stays at home, now he could get backlash, for staying at home because, in our society, we think the man should be working. So society actually thinks and believes and wants men to work. So if they do stay at home doing what they call a woman's role, then yeah, now the man can get backlash. So it's really tricky both ways, isn't it? So, these are just some of the things, that I feel that, like a lot of times women, you got to really think, what you're asking for. You got your, now look at her. It look like something's blowing up in the background. You got to really worry about, you're out there in the construction. And let me tell you something. There are jobs that, that are male type of jobs that I know men don't want to do. Like a lot of that construction work. I remember one day during the summer, and I was looking at those construction workers, and I was like, wow. I really had to take my hat off to those men, because that's a job I would not want to do. Do you hear me? And and then like some of those days are like in the 90s and the hundreds, and they're out there building those streets in that hot tar and all that cement, and it's just hot. And I just be thinking, like, sometimes, like, whenever I be around here, straining up and like cleaning my house or my apartment, I'm sweating. And now, can you imagine out there on the streets doing this stuff? So that, there are just some jobs that I don't even want to do as a male. So, women, you got to really know what you're getting yourself into. Now, let's talk about, are some men even willing and ready to hand off the hard work to women? No, and I think about the old school people, people in my dad's generation, my granddad's generation, and a little bit after that, they had a certain, what's the, cuff or respect for themselves. My dad told me many times how, like, when he was growing up, it was always him and his brother. They was out doing the yard work. Their sister would be in the house doing these things. And that's just what it was. That's the way it was supposed to be. It definitely wasn't thought. Like their sister, it was never even thought that, okay, can you come outside and cut this grass? Can you come outside and cut these hedges? That wasn't even thought of for her to do. Just like it wasn't thought of them to be washing dishes. Now, maybe every now and then, a male may wash some dishes or something, but it's not really geared toward like vacuuming the floor, sweeping the floor. You know, those are called gender roles that just was created as time went on. So, you know, I don't think a lot of men of a certain generation, they would even feel right allowing a woman to do certain jobs. They like, you know, here I am, an old rusty man. They let us say that old rusty man. I'm out here sitting in the house, you know, dusting, you know, the shelves while she's outside with the weed eater. but but in today's generation, a lot of these guys, what is it, Generation Z or whatever you call them, Gen Z. I don't think a lot of them will feel bad. Yeah, let her go outside, cut grass, and I will stay right in here. Look at her. They say women's equality. You know, she got her bonnet on. She is ready to take on the world. And a lot of men will be like, well, you go right ahead. So now they'll, you know what I'm saying, that'll give me more time with my Xbox. You know what I'm saying? That'll give me more time at the gym, more time, I don't know, going to a football game. I don't know. So yeah, so you know, I guess depending on the generation, a lot of men, they don't want women to do those type of jobs. So, you know, a lot of men, they want the women to be in the house. Like that makes them feel like a man. Oh yeah, I'm bringing it home, you know, bringing the bacon home to my family. Oh yeah. A lot of guys, the Gen Z, they don't care about no bacon. Let me tell you something. If they're not eating the bacon, they're not worried about bringing it home. Okay. All right. So let me know your thoughts on that. You know, are women, women are demanding equal rights, but do they really know what it all entails with these equal rights? I'm telling you, a lot of men are getting to the point where they're just sick of them. You know, they are really sick of them. All right. Now let's talk about the man a little bit. You know, the pressure to provide, is the provider role for men in relationships, is it outdated? So that's kind of going to what I was just saying. And like I said, I think for I'm sorry, these images be sending me. Look at that man. He is in breakdown. Do you hear me? That is a man he's about to give up. Oh wow. Look at him. I mean, I see look at her. There's something wrong with the car. You know, look at her. He ain't got no money. He got many issues. What's that over there? Oh, look at her. He got to go to the gym. And what's that? A woman. He probably got women issues too. He probably can't make his wife happy. The computer, you know, he got to do his work on the computer. Got to go to school. Got to go to job. You know, so yeah. Being a provider for a lot of men is really becoming outdated. You want to know why? Because it's a lot. Like I said, back in my dad and my granddad, and a little bit after, you know, that generation, the baby boomers and all them type of like that. Now, you know, those men were taught to provide. You are a man, you provide for your family. But, you know, but the thing about that is what a lot of people don't talk about is because it seems weak. That's a lot, though. You know, think about it. You know, if something's wrong with the family, you take the hit. You know, if the money isn't there, you get out there, you work 2 to 3 jobs. You know, you slave over work. You know, if the children need this, you make sure they get it. You know, they got to have their funding for school, got to have clothes for school. And all this is mainly on one person. Now, sure, the wife comes along, you know, she's just known as the helper. So, you know, if the man starts to slack, then, you know, she helps along a way. Now, a lot of people say, well, what's wrong with that? That's how it should be. That's how God intended it to be and all this stuff. But like I said, but in these new generations, you know, time go on, people change, men change, women change, and it just becomes to be a lot. Because when I look at like, I think of like my nephew, or like maybe a little bit older than my nephew. But I look at like a lot of these guys, they're all about the party. You know, they're all about just dating different girls. You know, just having to kickstart their career. You know, a lot of people don't even think about marriage anymore. So yeah, I think, you know, just the man providing everything is really outdated. And like I said, it puts a lot of pressure on one person. And with like going, you know, it's so funny how like all these topics are just like kind of tying in, but also going back with the modern woman. So these men today are like, okay, now if you're a modern woman, okay, well then you bring, you know what I'm saying, your 50% to the table. I know a wise woman who said that, like that 50-50 thing, it isn't really reality because they said that, by it being a man and a female, but then again, but these days, you got all kinds of people dating and stuff. But anyway, but put it this way, by it being two people, whether it's man and man, female, female, man, female, they're still a different person. So they can't not always bring 50-50. And that's actually a good point to make because like let's say that let's say they both got a job, right? Let's say one person is working for the bank, okay? Like let's say they're a manager at a bank. And let's say the next person, they're a manager at a retail store. See, that retail job and that bank job, they're not going to be pulling in the same money. So you really can't be 50-50. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot to think about too. And that's, because, people always say, oh, no, it's going to be 50-50. Okay, but listen, but my check ain't looking like yours. Like you've got 6 figures. I got 4 figures or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or, so you can't always be 50-50 on everything. But I think as long as, a person is bringing something, is better than nothing. Okay, look at that man. He's sick of her. and it's really sad to see that men are just getting sick of women. Yeah, because do y'all remember last year when I was telling you about how the men they want the blow up dolls and the AI girlfriends? Go look at her. She's mad about something. Now, if she's anything like that lady from In the Know, she could be mad about the light bill. So he better hope that she don't have a gun in her purse, okay? Because I'm telling you, the women, they're upset. The men they're upset because they're sick of the women. I just don't know what's going to happen in the next few years. By 2030, I don't know how the divorce rate going to be looking. It could be looking very high, and the marriage is looking very low. But all I know is these men are tired of being the provider. They want to see women step up. And then if a man, and here's the key thing, and I'm gonna move on. If a man is gonna be a provider, not all, but a lot of men, if they are gonna be a provider, they trust and believe they want that submissive woman. Yeah, they're like, okay, wait a minute. If I'm gonna be doing A through Z, breaking my back with 2 or 3 jobs, bringing all the money home, and so making sure you look fancy, making sure we have a nice house, making sure we got money. Trust and believe a lot of those men, they want them submissive women where his name is on everything. She's there as a helper. She's there as a cook. She's there for servitude duties. Yeah. Most men, they're not going to want a woman, like he's back there being a provider, breaking his neck, and she out there still making her own money and all this stuff. Now, some men, it really all depends on the people. Okay. Let me know what you all think in the comments, and I will definitely read them and maybe chat about them one day. Okay, but we're going to keep this thing moving. All right, everybody. So there you are now. That's your real talk for 2025. All right. Still got some more coming up. We're going to try to move this thing a little bit quicker. Another music break. Coming up next, we have your Drunk Off the Juice. After that, we have your Ancestors, and then we're going to close this show down. So more to come. Don't go anywhere. You are keeping it real hot and fresh with the best.
Sip. Ese. Get it. Cocaine. Oh.
Welcome back, everybody. You are keeping it real hot and fresh with the best. Your guy Z Fly, and y'all know y'all rocking out with Fly World Media. And right now, let's get drunk off the juice. Hit it. All right, everybody. Also, just a little, once again, just want to say again, I do not own the rights to the music that you are hearing in today's show. Also, too, if you were watching on Instagram, it has stopped, unfortunately. So yeah, just let you know. So so what's up live now is still Facebook and YouTube. You can watch the show live, and that is at Real Hot Fresh. I do apologize for my Instagram users or viewers. If you were watching the show from Instagram, I do apologize, but yeah, it did stop for whatever reason. All right, but let's get into the drunk off the juice of it all. So now let's talk about the chit chat conversation that was heard around the world. That's right. Social media sounds off after video shows Barack Obama and Donald Trump chatting at the Jimmy Carter's funeral. As y'all probably know, former President Jimmy Carter was laid to rest on Thursday, January 9th in Washington, D.C., but many notable politicians were in attendance at the funeral, including former President Barack Obama and President-elect Donald Trump. Michelle Obama wasn't by her husband's side, but he seemed to be okay with Trump's presence. Social media speculates about topics of Barack and Donald Trump's chat. Michelle aside, the Associated Press reports that all of the living former presidents and their spouses were at Jimmy Carter's funeral. Barack and Donald sat in the front pews of Washington National Cathedral behind only President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris and their spouses. Live coverage of the service has been all over social media, but users have been particularly cutting up at videos and photos of Barack and Donald chatting, smiling, and even laughing at the service. So, of course, a lot of you all probably saw this. It definitely, sorry for the blurriness of it, but I'm pretty sure most of you all have seen it by now. And if you haven't, definitely Google it because it's all over the web. But yeah, Barack and Donald, they just seem very, very, chatty at, President Carter's funeral. So what they were talking about, we don't know. But of course, a lot of people have this speculation. So let's go to Twitter comments and see what some people speculated that they was talking about. One Twitter person said, Obama and Trump chatting it up like old buddies, and some of y'all fools skip holiday dinners with your families over political differences. Now who's the dummy now? That is so true. That is so true. I think I even talked about how, so many people were, went crazy over this past debate, cutting off families and friends just because, you might have voted for someone else or voted for a person you didn't agree with. But now look at these two, a Democrat and a Republican, chatting and laughing it up at a former president's funeral. So how that make you feel? All right, another chatter said this is what Trump wanted. His crush, Obama, to be nice to him and take him to the dance. Okay. Listen, y'all know people got to be shady. Someone else said Donald Trump taught all of that ish about Obama. Now he can't stop smiling and giggling in his face. Thirsty ass. With another person saying Trump and Obama acting like they Xbox homies. So, of course, so many other people had more speculation of what they could have been talking about at on Jimmy Carter's funeral. So yeah, it's just really, really crazy. But I guess it's good to see two opposing teams or chat it up and smiling. Okay. All right, moving along. Now, if you are a Real Housewife of Potomac fan, as y'all know, the reunion is coming up, and Karen Huger skips the reunion and enters rehab after guilty DUI verdict. That's right. Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen Huger is skipping the season 9 reunion. Her manager confirmed that in a statement that she decided to enter a private recovery program. Now, if some of y'all may know that, Karen, she was stopped recently, with DUI. Driving under the influence, and that became a big thing on social media. Fans and social media users quickly grew concerned when Karen Huger's absence was noticeable on the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 9 reunion seating chart shared by Bravo on Instagram on Thursday, January 9th. Well, it turns out Karen Huger is taking some time to focus on herself, according to her manager, Ryan Trisdale. In a statement to People, he recently explained her absence, revealing she's decided to enter rehab. He said she was fully supported in this choice. We stand behind Karen as she embarks on this meaningful journey and are proud of her for taking such a significant step towards in her personal growth, Trisdale added. So yeah, this is really, really serious. There's the car right there. So yeah, it was really, really serious, a really, really serious incident with Karen Huger involved. So, well wishes to her. The good thing is, a lot of people, they don't really recognize when they do have an issue, but it looks like Karen is taking it on head first, and she is trying to do something about it. So kudos to her and all the well to her and her family. All right. Last but not least on the list is Tina Knowles mourns heartbreaking loss of beloved Malibu bungalow in Los Angeles wildfire. So earlier, I was telling you about how other celebrities lost their homes, and Tina Knowles is unfortunately among some of those people. She's slowly opening up about losing their homes to the California wildfires. She is the latest to share that the fires destroyed her sanctuary. Other people, like I said, was Paris Hilton, Janae Aiko, Billy Crystal, and Mandy Moore. On Thursday, January 9th, Tina Knowles shared an emotional message on Instagram about how the ongoing California fires have affected her. The fashion designer showed a video of Malibu's stunning blue water and explained that she enjoyed the view on January 4th while celebrating her birthday. She said, "This is what I was looking at on my birthday this past weekend from my tiny little bungalow on the water in Malibu. It was my favorite place, my sanctuary, my sacred, happy place. Now it is gone," Knowles wrote. She also continued by saying, "I can only imagine how it feels to lose properties and everything you own. My heart and deep prayers go out to all of you. I cannot imagine the pain and suffering and fear that you are enduring. I am praying diligently for our beautiful city of Los Angeles. We are resilient, though, and we will recover. This too shall pass," Knowles continues. So, yeah, shout outs and heartfelt to her losing. Also, too, I just want to say that I know like a lot of people out there, whenever you hear that celebrities or VIPs or people with money are losing these houses, you're like, oh, yeah, whatever, they'd be okay. But, but at the end of the day, still going to have some sympathy there because, even though, they may have insurance or they may have this, to rebuild. Like I said, there could be things in these houses that are not replaceable. At the end of the day, despite what you may think of celebrities and, their lifestyle, they're still people and, they still have loved ones and, they can still lose things. So, like I said, that what I'm saying may not change some people's minds. Or, oh, whatever, it should be okay. Or Beyonce, her, is her daughter. Oh, they got money, they'll be okay. But like I said, still that was something that was hers, and we don't know what pieces or memory pieces that she could have had in that bungalow. So that's just that. All right, and you are now drunk off the juice, everybody. Okay, so really quick, so coming up next, we do have I Am My Ancestors' Wildest Dream. But before I get into that, by this being the first show of the 2025 year, I do want to share with you some upcoming things and some plans. In the beginning, I showed you the year in review of 2024. So now let's talk about 2025. So, I have some great things coming. As you know, I am going to be looking for some guest hosts. That's right. To join me on the Real Talk segments. That's right. So right now, I don't have it all set up yet, but I do want to have, what I'm saying, just some people to join me on the Real Talk segment. As you all know, as y'all see, I definitely have my opinion that I will give you. But, but one thing that I love a good debate. I love to sit with other people and, hear their opinions. Hear their opinions on some of these topics, and give their side of their point of view, their side of things. So so that's one thing that's coming up in 2025. We're gonna get that together with you. I definitely want to have other people along with me debating. But now, once again, this is also just for the Real Talk segment, not for the whole show, just for the Real Talk segment. So definitely keep it locked to my social media on how you can apply to be on the show, to be a guest host, I'm saying, dishing and debating with your boy Z Fly on some of these Real Talk topics that we have. Also, too, coming up, another giveaway. That's right. I'm gonna be looking for some topic submissions, some topic ideas. Listen, I know a lot of you all out there would may say, what, I wish Z Fly will talk about this, or oh, Z Fly should talk about this. Well, guess what? Well, let me know what you want me to talk about here on the show. So I'm gonna have a giveaway coming up very soon, where I'm gonna be getting all of your submissions of topic ideas. And if your topic gets used on the show, you will be winning a prize. I'm not going to say what type of prize it's going to be. You just have to stay tuned to my social media until that flyer comes out. So so definitely stay tuned for that as well, because I know a lot of you all have a lot of great ideas of of different topics that you want to hear me keep it real hot and fresh about, and I definitely want to do it. And like I said, I'm gonna make it fun and make it a giveaway. Also 2025, definitely want to get into some more events. I definitely want to bring some more Lavenda events coming along. Like I said, endometrial cancer is June, and gynecologic cancer is September. So never know what could be happening with that. I may also be attending more pop-ups. If you've been, tuning in, you see that, last year, I popped up at some pop-up, selling our sponsor Paradox 09322 products. So, also too, she's also in her winter collection. So be sure to go to the website to check out her winter collection in her hand foam soap and her air freshener. Got some really, really wintry, smell good scents. So check that out. So that's right. Some more pop-up shops will be coming in 2025. And also too, for those who know that I do I do I guess it's an event called Smutting Sensations, where men come and dance, in a male review type style type of show for a female audience. So hopefully I can get that going too. So so 2025, it has some things on the board. Okay, so everybody definitely be sure to keep it locked. Once again, I want to run the social media at the bottom if we can, so that way y'all know to go ahead and start following me, because a lot of things will be posted on my social media about the up and coming. Everything that I'm telling you now is up and coming. Okay, 2025 is sounding good to me, so hopefully you all are on board with the Fly World media of it all. All right, everybody. So we're a little bit over time for the show. So let's go ahead and close this show down with the last segment of I Am My Ancestors' Wildest Dream. Hit it. All right, everybody. I am my ancestors' wildest dream. Now, today it comes from I think it was last week. I had the opportunity to watch the movie The 6888. That's on Netflix right now, produced by no other than Tyler Perry. And watching that show, wow, or no, we're not that show, but that movie, it really like took me back to that time period. And I was like, wow, people have really struggled. I mean, in society, in this world, I mean, human beings have struggled, and that movie really touched me. I just seeing once again how females and black females that had to struggle and do so much more, just to prove that they're worthy. So today we honor Major Charity Adams Early, a trailblazer whose courage, determination, and leadership exemplify what it means to pave the way for future generations. That's right. Major Adams is best known for her extraordinary role in forming and leading the 6888th Central Postal Directory Battalion, famously called the 6888, during World War II. Now, that already puts you in a time period, right? Okay. Now, at a time when the world was at war, the United States faced the immense challenge of managing millions of letters and packages intended for troops overseas. Amid this chaos, the morale of soldiers relied heavily on hearing from their families. However, racial segregation and gender bias were deeply enriched in the military, making it nearly unthinkable for a Black woman to lead such a critical operation. Yet, Major Charity Adams proved that impossible is nothing. So now let's talk about some of her challenges, okay? Born in 1918 in Columbia, South Carolina, Charity Adams grew up in the segregated South. Despite the barriers of systemic racism and limited opportunities for Black women, she excelled academically and pursued higher education at Wilberforce University. But even with her qualifications, entering the Women's Army Corps, which is a WAC, in 1942, presented a new set of challenges. She became one of the first African-American women to be commissioned as an officer in the WAC, where she faced constant scrutiny, racial discrimination, and doubt about her capabilities, not just from her peers, but even from her superiors as well. In the military, Black women were often relegated to mental tasks, but Adams demanded better. Her tenacity eventually led to her historic appointment as the commanding officer of the 6888. Now, let's talk about her strength, everybody. Leading the 6888 Central Postal Directory Battalion was no small feat. That's right. When Major Adams and her battalion arrived in Birmingham, England in 1945, they were greeted by mountains of undelivered mail, nearly 17 million pieces. Some packages had been languishing for months, and many soldiers were losing hope of ever hearing from their loved ones. Can you imagine that? Whew, that is a time to think about. Under Adams' command, the 6888 developed an efficient system to store and deliver mail, often working in harsh conditions. They operated 24/7 in poorly lit and unheated warehouses with looming threats of German V-2 rocket attacks. Despite these challenges, the battalion completed their task in half the estimated time. An incredible achievement that restored morale to countless soldiers. Now let's talk about her achievements. Okay, Major Charity Adams' leadership of the 6888 shattered barriers and defied expectations. The battalion motto was "No mail, no low morale." Highlighted the vital role they played in supporting the war effort. Beyond their operational success, the 6888 was a symbol of what Black women could achieve when given the opportunity to lead. After the war, Charity Adams continued to break ground. She earned a master's degree from Ohio State University and became an advocate for education, civil rights, and veterans affairs. In 1989, she published her memoir, One Woman's Army, to ensure that contributions of the 6888 were never forgotten. And last but not least, everybody, let's talk about her legacy. Okay, Major Charity Adams, Early's story is a testament to the resilience and brilliance of those who came before us. She overcame systemic barriers to lead with grace and excellence, proving that representation matters. Even in the most challenging of circumstances, the 6888 remains the only all-Black, all-female battalion to have served overseas during World War II, a legacy of courage, sacrifice, and triumph. Wow. Major Charity Adams Early truly embodied the dream of her ancestors, and today she inspires generations to keep striving for excellence no matter the odds. She is indeed her ancestors' wildest dream, and so are we. Wow. So there you have it, everybody. Major Charity Adams Early. That is a mouthful. I don't know. It makes you just want to cry sometimes, just to think, like of these time periods, World War II, this woman, a Black woman trying to lead a battalion of other Black women, and just knowing like, you have your white superiors and just other people looking at you like, who y'all supposed to be? But yet they strive through with horrible work environments, the lights aren't good. It's cold outside. They're in a warehouse. It's horrible, but she did it. So yes, so she is definitely this week's Our Ancestors' Wildest Dream. So there you have it. All right, buddy. So we did it. We did it with our first 2025 Keeping It Real Hot and Fresh show. That's right with you guys, Z-Fly. I think it went very, very well. Once again, I definitely want to thank my radio director in the back, doing her thing, keeping the images and everything coming, the wording and everything. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much for everybody who tuned in and who liked and everything. Once again, if you were watching on Instagram and it shut off on you, I apologize. You know how these live shows are. All right, but once again, be sure to follow me on my social media, because as I was telling you, some really, really great things and giveaways are coming up for 2025 before you know it. So definitely check me out. Keep it locked. And also be sure to follow me on my YouTube page. Oh, yeah, also my website as well. Yeah, go to the website, everybody. And check it out. Check out the website. You'll see some merch that you can buy things and see the radio page. But also check me out on my YouTube page, Real Hot Fresh. And be sure to subscribe and like and share and all those kind of good things like that. All right. So once again, I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. And until next time, everybody, Happy New Year. Welcome to a new year. Let's make this a great one. As y'all can see, listen, a lot of things has happened. We got fires in LA. We got people mad at the light bill. We got a lot of things going on in 2025 already. So let's try to, get this year on track. Okay. And yeah, so there you go. So yes, once again, follow me on my YouTube and subscribe, like, and share. And until next time, everybody, take care of yourself and each other. Why do I sound like Jerry Springer? All right, y'all. Stay fly, not too high. Bye-bye.